DNVR Broncos postgame show, Losers Lounge, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Blah 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 blah.
Code DNVR.
Use the code DNVR. Yeah, whatever. Honestly, I don't know what more can be said, other than the offense is an absolute embarrassment.
Punt, 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 punt. Interception. That was the Broncos' second half offense in a one-score game.
Yeah, and there's reasons for it. Jared Jeudy going out on the first play of the game certainly didn't help. Graham Glasgow going down not only didn't help, but actively hurt a lot.
Multiple times.
Billy Turner going out definitely hurt.
It was tee-off season on rest then.
And because of that, we ended with what I would say was the worst offensive performance of the season. And it is crazy that after everything we talked about, the bye week, this, that, the other thing, that things went backward. And like I said, there's things to point to, but it's just crazy to think.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same things as always where you can point to one or two or three things and say, oh, yep, that's why it happened. But the thing is, the reason why we always talk about those is because those are the things that they could fix. You know, you could sit here and say, like, oh, they were so close to winning. If they have Jerry Jeudy, who knows? Maybe he makes a play when they're down there at the end. Maybe if they have those linemen, they don't have those. It doesn't matter at this point, though. Like, every week there's the excuses. Now it's not even excuses, reasons to think that those things could get better. At this point, it just doesn't matter if things get better. You're 3-6. I think 4 teams ever have made the playoffs from 3-6. The season's basically over, so it doesn't matter really why at this point.
Well, and what sucks about it is this morning, the Broncos, if they won today and then the Chargers lost to their big-time dogs against the 49ers tonight, they're one game out of the wild card spot in the AFC. Now that they've lost, all eyes turn to the Colts playing the Raiders. If the Raiders beat the Colts, which is not looking good right now that they're going to, but if the Raiders beat the Colts, Broncos will be tied for last place in the division.
Yeah.
I mean, just like that, the Broncos had a massive opportunity, and the offense just completely wasted it away. And like you said, Ryan, embarrassing, but unfortunately, that's just the new reality of what the Broncos offense is. And there's just still, week to week, it seems like there's so much hope going into games of being able to get to 21 points, which would have been enough to win today, to get to 20, which would have been enough today. And they just come up short time and time again. They can't run the ball. They can't pass the ball effectively. They just can't do anything.
Yeah, and that's why it was so disappointing today is they didn't do anything right. Nothing.
No.
Across the board.
No.
Running the ball was a joke. Passing the ball was the only real successful pass play you had was just luck.
Yeah. Blown
And
coverage.
Yeah. Are we live? Are we back? Can you hear us? I heard that we played some lovely music and it calmed everyone down, and everyone's feeling much better now.
No, I heard it was very fitting of the Broncos offense. Just
Yes.
flatlined.
I love the fact that someone wrote in there. It said, also, all of your comments kept us very entertained
Yes,
during
They
that
did.
short
Thank
break.
you.
Very good comments.
But the best one was, I thought, the one that said, RK, it can't get much worse.
It can always get worse, Ryan.
It can always
Can.
get worse. But, man, I think the point I was making is they couldn't do anything right.
No.
Not a damn thing. And I want to give a break for the injuries that they're dealing with. But, man, at this point, it's just like,
Yeah.
there's no, even when you were healthy, you sucked.
Yeah.
So the fact that you just suck in an uglier way now
And what's
just
the point
doesn't
of, like,
earn much for me.
What's the point of giving breaks? Like, what does that even count for? Like, the season is over.
I
Like,
mean,
it's like, there's no path to, like, improving. Like, it doesn't matter.
even if you have injuries, you should still be able to put up more than 10 points and get some first downs and get a field goal in a second half of a game.
Yeah, man, anything. And what was most disappointing and frustrating for me was, one, they didn't have a counter from an offensive standpoint. Just like very simple things that other normal teams do. And the Broncos are very much not a normal team. But look at Ryan Tannehill. If you bring Josie Jewell on a blitz, he looks right to that area of the field,
Yep.
flips it right over the line to a tight end who's come into that zone. The Broncos don't do anything like that. There's no seeing where the blitz is coming from and working away from it. And there's no blitz counters. The only thing the Broncos did today that worked was, I guess, a pressure counter, which was screens. A couple wide receiver screens got loose. That's about the only thing they did right from a passing game standpoint, other than the lucky Jalen Virgil touchdown. And so it's just, it's Russ and attack it. Time and time and time and time again. And, you know, Russ has his faults, obviously, and he is a part of this. And Hackett isn't doing anything to help. And the two of them together are entirely responsible for this clown show.
Massive, massive, massive concern for me, just week in and week out, and it's not going away with Russell Wilson. Nathaniel Hackett, you can move on from today, after the season, if things don't get fixed. Russell Wilson, you can't. And that's the most concerning thing right now, is Russell Wilson, he was hit 18 times today. And let's not put all of this or even close to all of this on the offensive line. The offensive line was not good, especially right when Quinn Bailey went in. The Tennessee Titans said, oh, you have Quinn Bailey in? We're just going to go right after him. And they did, and they were very successful. Calvin Anderson was not good either. The middle of the Broncos offensive line was not good either.
Because there's all third stringers.
Yeah, exactly. But Russell Wilson, especially in that situation, you have to have that clock in your head. And he just looked so uncomfortable every time the ball was snapped. And then he just did not have the clock in his head. And we heard it time and time again in Seattle, just how he had more sacks on him as a quarterback than any other quarterback in the league. Boy, was that on display today.
Yeah. I mean, to me, let's do a little blame game here. To me, and from an offensive standpoint, and I'm not actually blaming the players themselves because it's not their fault. They're put in a bad situation. But to me, the offensive line is the number one reason why things went completely off the rails today. Now, if you would have had, an all-pro offensive line in there, I don't know what this offense even does.
Yeah.
But for sure, every time the Broncos snapped the ball, there were people within a second on top of Russell Wilson, and he really had to make magic happen to even make plays look like they might have a chance, even though none of them ever did anyway. And I was saying before the game, I'm looking forward to watching the All-22 because Russell Wilson actually did a pretty miraculous job of buying time on a lot of plays. And then there was just nothing. With the times that he did get a ball off, he's just throwing a prayer ball down the field into double coverage. I'm like, where is that second route? Where's Kendall Hinton breaking off and coming back to him? Where's Cortland Sutton? Like, I'm seeing Montrell Washington in double coverage 60 yards down the field. Where's everyone else? That was shocking to me, but from the start, to me, number one blame is the offensive line. Again, not blaming the players, blaming the injuries. Then Russ, then Hackett.
Yeah, to me, it just goes back to who we've been talking about this whole time. It is Russell Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, you could put all three of those right up there, but again, another game, another 50% completion performance for Russell Wilson. 21 of 42, just absolutely terrible. Like you said, Brian, the only good play he had was when he threw a 66-yard pass, which was just a receiver was wide open. I'm glad he was able to find him. Credit there. But outside of that, no touchdowns on the day. That one pick at the end, 50% completion. I mean, when we see Russ get close to 60%, it's like, wow, this is incredible. No, this is the modern day NFL where throwing the ball is a lot easier. And by the way, this Tennessee Titans pass defense is bad. So the fact that they made this Broncos pass offense they shut down is even worse.
Yeah.
Totally.
Go ahead, Hank.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you also look in the total passing numbers, second most of his time in Denver, but that's more of an indictment of everything else that's happened in the past couple months than just saying like, oh yeah, that's great. So you do have just that raw production, which can be just a little bit confusing. Like we have 286 passing yards. If you told me they're going to throw for 286 yards today, I'd say, yeah, they get 17 points. 10 points from that.
Right.
And part of the reason is the 50%. There's so many duds in there that just push just push them closer to a third down, a 3-and-out, whatever. But that's just
take out the
brutal.
1 for 66, and you have 37 that added up to 220.
True.
About right.
But you can't. I mean, you can't do that.
No, but I'm just saying in terms of
37 what?
attempts.
41
attempts
for 220.
that ended up at 220 yards. I'm not saying take it away from in terms of the whole performance. I'm just saying it helps illustrate why they weren't able to get those points, because most of the production came on one play that did score them points. All of the rest of it was just random 3rd and 11 conversions that, the next series was a 3rd and 14 and they didn't get it.
Exactly. And I just look at Ryan Tannehill's numbers. He was 52.8% completion. Not great. 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. We're begging to see something like that, where it's just you're able to get 2 touchdowns in a game. That's it. That's all we ask is 2 touchdowns, because one more touchdown and the Broncos are going into overtime in this game because of how well their defense played for the majority of the game.
It's I don't know. I want to say words like shocking, unbelievable.
It's not, yeah.
It's
6
just,
months ago, this would be shocking.
It's just frustrating. It's maddening. It's disheartening. It's worrying. And, we have plenty of time to talk about it, but you're right. The big worry is you probably have to fire Nathaniel Hackett. Regardless of how you feel about him or anything, you need someone to come fix Russell Wilson.
Yes, you do.
That's basically the only goal of this offseason.
Yep.
Unless he turns it around, you've got 8 games left. Maybe he does figure it out, and it was all just awful, terrible growing pains, like crippling, have to go to the hospital growing pains. But it doesn't feel like that's going to happen, especially after the bye week. That was you scored 21 points in London. Yep. You have a couple things happen for you.
Nothing's going to change big time on offense because you saw that progression.
Wristband doesn't mean shit.
Apparently
Blue pants don't mean shit.
Yeah.
You got to play real football
Yep.
and do real things, and they can't do it right now. So you probably, again, not that anyone didn't want to do it that's listening to this probably, but you're just going to have to fire Nathaniel Hackett, and maybe you think Sean Payton is the guy to come do this, and you got to trade away that first-round pick you got to get him. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters unless you fix Russell Wilson.
Yep.
So that's where we're headed. Is got 8 games to try and see if this staff can do anything to fix him. And if it's not that's the only thing. That's your only chance to be relevant anytime soon.
100%. And now you're trying to do that, Ryan. Get things out of Russell Wilson. Fix him with backup offensive linemen all over the place. Jerry Jeudy goes down, so you're left with Jalen Virgil, Montrell Washington, Kendall Hinton, and Cortland Sutton, who was pretty hit or miss today. And it's just the Broncos are in such a bad spot. Again, just today, probably the biggest disappointment just from where they could have been, going from 4-5 now to 3-6.
Yeah.
And
it just does it.
It does. And on the flip side, You did what you needed to do. Ryan, I said the number one whiteboard key last week to beating the Titans was stopping Derrick Henry, and you said stop there. We could end there because that should be a win right there. The Broncos did that. 2.8 yards per carry, and it should have been good enough. No, you're 100% right. It should have been good enough, but the offense was that bad. 10 points per game. The Broncos were the third worst scoring offense in the NFL coming into today. Only the Colts were worse, and one other team. Right now, it looks like the Colts are on pace to leap ahead of the Broncos, and the Broncos with the 10 points today pulling themselves back even worse. Probably going to be under 14 points per game now.
When did they score the field goal to get it to 10? I guess it was right before the Colts drive, right? So.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so they didn't even have another. I mean, the fact that you get to 10, you get a 10-point lead, and completely implode the entire rest of the game from there. And it's crazy to say they're very low down the list of why they lost, but the defense on that late second half drive was really disappointing. We might be talking about a different result, probably not, but might be talking about a different result if they even just hold for 3 there to give up the touchdown. And it's maybe one time all year where I looked at Evero and just said, yeah, not your best series or not your best possession there. It felt like he was just calling the wrong plays at the wrong time basically the whole way down. When you're off, they're able to, get it. When you brought pressure, they were able to throw into it. And even on that, you left Kareem Jackson in single coverage on a big wide receiver there on the touchdown, and it's just like, yeah, well, he can't do that anymore.
Right, and the defense just has zero margin for error now. They just can't give up any plays. And so like you said, Ryan, it's not fair, but this is who the Broncos are. They are this team that is so unbelievably reliant on their defense where it's like, well, they have a bad series, a bad play or two. Well, you do get on them because it's so crucial. But let's break that down even more. First, I got to tell you about our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery. The Breck Brews were flowing at the DNVR bar today. I mean, a great turnout for the game. The atmosphere was awesome in the first half. And then it was just, there was nothing to get excited about in the second half. And the Breck Brews were flowing, though. You guys were enjoying them. What is it, the Funslinger?
Funslinger, yeah.
Ooh, what a cool can. Great beer, too.
Great beer. Breck actually hooked us up with the Funslinger snowboard. With the branding from the can on the snowboard. Sick. They're good. They're super crushable. And, yeah, I think everyone could use a bucket of Funslinger. So come down to the DMVR bar and enjoy one.
That is for sure. And go to breckbeer.com. Look at their Breck Beer locator if you can't make it down here.
And also sign up for Ivaka. The Nuggets play tonight in a few hours. That's going to be nice. Yeah. Cleanse the palate
Buffs basketball?
Yeah.
Beat a top 11 team in the country?
Yes, top 11 team in the country. The standard demarcation of top 11.
Bottom 11 team on Friday?
Maybe Grambling's good. We don't know yet.
They were Ken Pom had them 325 out of 345
I bet they're higher now. They're higher now.
That's what I said. But yeah, I mean, Ivaka, you get to watch the Nuggets, you get to watch the Avalanche. Get to watch Rockies too, but that's a lot like watching the Broncos, so we won't lean too hard into that one. There's also the DMVR channel. I'm sure somebody out there is probably watching us right now on Ivaka on their TV. So Ivaka is awesome, and the best part is it is the cheapest way to watch the Nuggets and Avalanche to get altitude. That's $25 a month plus another $5 a month for receiver. You can sign up at ivaka.tv/DNVR.
And also come by, hang out at the DNVR bar. You can come down for the Nuggets game tonight. Very much of a vibe switch from the way things are right now.
Yes.
Quiet, sad.
If you want to see offense, watch the Nuggets.
Yeah, exactly. Nuggets are humming on offense. But you can come down here, hang out. You could have had brunch this morning, which once again got rave reviews. I was too busy to eat brunch, and now I'm starving.
I had the chicken and waffles. They were bomb.
Just rubbing it in.
They were so good, Ryan.
I'm going to have the biggest cheat meal after this. I just don't know what it is.
Wow. You got to start dreaming that in your head next
Also,
45
Allie
minutes.
made cupcakes last night.
Oh.
About to eat 14.
Oh, there we go. Did you hold off last night?
No, I had one.
Okay.
And we have Friendsgiving on Tuesday.
Oh,
so
DNVR Friendsgiving.
Gonna be eating well the next couple days.
All right, well, RIP diet.
Vibe's getting a little
lasted
better
for
now.
a good 4 days. Anyways, come down, hang out at the DNVR bar, have yourself a good time. And again, thank you to everyone who came today. It was a little bit of a late arriving crowd, which I understand for an 11 a.m. start, but I turned around at one point during the watch long. I was like, My God.
Yep.
This place filled out entirely.
Yeah, it did. It was awesome. And like I said, the first half was awesome because the Broncos get that 10-0 lead. And then, Ryan, you touched on it, that drive at the end of the first half. The Broncos had such an opportunity there. If they stop the Titans, don't get any more points in the first half, then they get the ball to start the second half. And what was something that really jump-started the Broncos offense and really got the team believing in London was that first drive of the second half that they had where they went 98 yards for a touchdown. So you're thinking, holy cow, the Broncos could have a 13-0 lead, a 17-0 lead after the first possession. You kind of start going there already because the defense has been so good that you're like, they're gonna stop them. And then they just, this is where it really goes on Evero, Ryan, is you just played like prevent defense. And it's like, no.
And then
no.
they tried to back out of that, and then that didn't work. It was like
there was one where like they just had the safeties way back, but then they also brought a blitz. And you're like, well, now there's only like 4 guys to cover
patch
50,
of green grass in the middle of the field.
Exactly.
Man, and it was the complete opposite of what they did at the start of the game.
Yeah,
when they had Draymond Jones standing up as an outside linebacker, that was beautiful. It was perfect. Then you have 3 down linemen and Jonathan Cooper on the other side. You have so much meat and muscle there, and you know what? It worked to stop Derrick Henry. And you know what? Ryan Tannehill wasn't doing anything when you did that because he's not very good. The passing options that they have aren't very good. Why would you change what's worked so well?
Yeah, that was baffling to me, especially when it was like perfect.
Yes.
He was working perfect.
Yes.
And it's not like I get you don't want to give a big play, but at the same time, if Ryan Tannehill throws a perfect dime to a wide receiver streaking up the sideline and you didn't, tip your cap.
Yep.
When has he done that?
No.
So
he hadn't.
KYP know the personnel, know your personnel, but know their personnel too. KTP. And keep doing what you're doing.
Yes.
They have 0 points.
They have 0 points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Their first 6 possessions before that final one. Guess how many first downs the Titans had? 6 possessions. 2! Yeah, spot on, Ryan. 2 first downs. Why change what's working? And then that just got the Titans just enough momentum and enough belief in themselves because it was bad. As bad as it could be. I mean, the Titans had only crossed the Broncos, got in Broncos territory once, and they only got 6 yards into it until then. And that was just all the Titans needed. And then in the second quarter, or in the third quarter, then they go on another 80-yard drive, and that was it. That's all they needed.
That was it.
Yeah. 10-0 Colts.
About that. Man, what an embarrassing loss for the Raiders.
All right, so my question to you guys is, where do you go from here? Put yourself in the shoes of whoever. George Payton, Rob Walton, Greg Penner, Kerry Penner, Nathaniel Hackett. What can you do? What can anyone do right now to help this?
I'm not sure you gain anything by getting rid of Nathaniel Hackett right now.
No, we've
That's
had
where
this
I'll
conversation before.
Exactly.
Just makes the job harder for everyone else and
Yep.
doesn't really – you don't have a replacement. I guess Evero would be your guy, but even then, you're just taking a little bit away from the defense, which is your only strength, not your biggest strength, your only strength.
You're just setting him up to not win games because the offense isn't any good and he's not fixing it. So, yeah, I mean, that's something I still think you're a few weeks away from.
Yeah.
You can't – it's not like you can bench Russ.
No,
Nope.
certainly not.
But those are the kind of things you have to go through. I mean, any of these running backs, do you think any of them have a chance in the future? Like Chase Edmonds is under contract. You give him some runs, see if maybe he can take over as a guy that you bring back.
Sure.
I mean,
Good luck running with that
little
group.
stuff like that. Exactly. It's like there's no reason to give the ball to Latavius Murray unless there's nobody else to give the ball to, since I guess he technically might be your best option.
So
I don't even know who else there is to play, though.
this is kind of my point. I don't know if there's any buttons left to press.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The only thing left, Ryan, is what you said, trying to get Russ right. And so that's Nathaniel Hackett's job for the rest of the time that he's the Broncos head coach, is trying to flip that around, protect him, and get him going for the future. Because right now I'm scared as hell when I look at Russell Wilson. I look at the contract that he's got, and I look at the situation the Broncos are in without being able to draft a replacement for him. But not just that, but they need some weapons to surround him with. You have your tight end of the future. Running back is now a question mark, just with Javonte Williams' injury being so bad. Receiver, Who knows about that? And then you need so much help on the offensive line. You're not just one offensive lineman away.
No. Go give Jalen Virgil and Brandon Johnson some run, though. Jalen Virgil popped. Like, why not? See what happens.
And Jalen was like barely on the field after that explosive play. And it's just like, why aren't you doing... Again, it's the conversation we had on defense, but with the offense now, why aren't you doing what works? Jalen Virgil gave you that spark. Get him back out there. Don't have Tyree Cleveland out there.
Yeah, and in the comments, I'm just seeing things like, we need a new quarterback, get rid of Russ, cut Russ. It's not an option.
You would have to pay $107 million in dead cap.
And that's not just like, oh, just write a check.
No.
It means your entire team is strapped.
That is half of your salary cap.
Yes.
That would be gone. And so not only would that just cripple you, you would have to cut so many players on your team right now in order to make that happen. So you're not only getting rid of Russ, you're getting rid of all the rest of your best players too in order to afford that.
It's not possible.
No.
The only if you want to go down that road just because it's the only button you can, think to press, it's like you took a flyer on a 6th or 7th round quarterback and they ended up being an all pro.
Right.
That's like the only way you get out of this in some lucky quarterback way. The thing is, I don't even think the Broncos will be looking to attempt that. Maybe they do. They just say like, hey, Brett, this is Brett's last year under contract, so you can kind of sell it to Russ.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we need to draft a backup.
Sure.
But other than that, you can't really fix the quarterback position other than fixing Russell Wilson.
And it's not just for this year. Like you said, if the Broncos were to move on from him, $107 million in dead cap next year. The following year, $85 million in dead cap. So he is a Denver Bronco through the 2024 season unless some team trades for him, but no team's going to trade for him. So he is your quarterback.
Yep. And even if you trade, I mean, that's still your cap hit.
Right.
You still deal with that.
And then in 2025, $49 million cap hit. I mean, you could, but not even then. So he is your quarterback through the 2025 season. In 2026, the dead cap, $31 million. So that's when it's like, okay, but we are 3 full football seasons away from that. It has to change. It has to get better. I can't. I mean, I'm starting to imagine that world, but this would be the worst contract in NFL history if he really plays like this.
And I mean, just to put that in perspective, salary cap is $230 million. Like you said, you'd be paying about half of it. As of now, they have $17 million in cap space next year. So you'd have $90 million you have to find on this roster. So you can, save $8 million by cutting Justin Simmons, $10 million by cutting Garrett Bowles, 11 from Graham Glasgow,
You're a third
10
of the way
from
there.
Darby. Exactly. So see, you would have to get rid of everybody on the roster, and that's just to have a chance. Like, it might not be mathematically possible.
Right. We laugh,
And
so
that's
we
what
don't
it looks
cry.
like for a few years.
Yeah, so we're not talking about that as a legitimate thing, but the point is just put that away.
You cannot get rid of Russ.
You can't.
There is no path.
So, the only path is get lucky, and then you can't draft a first-round quarterback because now you have a rift.
Right. No,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
And you can't get rid of him. So you can't just have him I guess you could just suspend him and
Someone.
I know. I was thinking you could frame him for a crime.
oh my god.
Oh wow.
That might void the
What?
contract.
Someone said the only way to get out of that.
might be able to pull that off.
Someone said, what about an early retirement? And Andrew Luck, he goes out that way because he got hit 18 times today.
Not
So
happening.
many.
No, it's not.
Not
Not when
happening.
you have $163 million guaranteed waiting for you.
So the question is, what are we doing to fix it? Obviously, the first name anyone thinks about when they think of a coaching change and, someone who's had success with a quarterback in their 30s is Sean Payton.
Yep.
And is this where he'd choose to go?
Not right now. And so honestly, if you're
Hold on,
moving
but if he has to be traded for, does he get to choose?
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
he still
could
does
just
not have
stay
a contract.
unretired, or he could stay
Yeah.
retired if he doesn't want to play for you.
Jesus.
Someone was mad.
Was that all that was?
I don't know. I don't
think
know.
slammed
what it
a table
was.
or something.
Yeah, I think so.
That is unreal. I thought so. I thought the whole building was about to come down. Or some
Yeah.
car crashed into the door or something.
Felt like it.
Sean Payton is his rights are held by the Saints through next season.
Correct.
So after next season, he could sign with anybody. If somebody wanted him this offseason, they could kind of come to an agreement, and then the team could trade for his rights.
And likely
so
that
they can
first
make it go
round pick
through.
that you have next year
Yep.
from the Seahawks in the Bradley Chubb trade. But
But you're really trading that first round pick for 1 year of Sean Payton instead of just waiting.
Right.
But, I mean-
if you move on from Nathaniel Hackett this year, and then you hire another head
can't,
coach,
yeah,
you aren't planning
Yeah.
to do that for another year. So honestly, maybe it's if you see enough from Nathaniel Hackett this year, then you say, okay, let's give him another year in order to try to continue to get this thing back on. Then you make the move. So it's an awkward place to be.
It is.
But Sean Payton, he's not looking at this job and saying,
No.
I want this.
No.
He's seeing a Seattle Seahawks team that dumped Russ because they thought that he was not going the right direction. And then he goes to another team and it
Yes.
doesn't look good. That's what's scary is what's appealing about this team from an offensive perspective from a Sean Payton. I think there's probably be other
Yes.
opportunities that are more intriguing.
Definitely. But the one thing that, like, the one way that he could get to saying yes is if he just thought, like, well, I can fix the offense. The defense is there. So I don't even have to worry about the defense, and I'd have my hands off the defense anyway. So it's, you have the one thing you can't control, but that's not worth
Well,
it.
and I think what's crazy is if Nathaniel Hackett doesn't make it through this season, the best thing after this season, the best thing he could do is make Russ look good enough to convince his next predecessor, Sean Payton, to come in here. Like if Nathaniel Hackett's good enough to do that, but still bad enough to get fired, that could be the best thing for the Broncos.
I hate to do this because I really like the guy.
Yeah.
He's done. I don't think it's if anymore. In terms of Nathaniel Hackett getting fired, I think it's when.
It's
Now
I mean,
know
when
we
the
did
season feels dead in
well,
week
we
10.
did the round table, and we said both of us said he has to get to 8.
Yep.
So you just took one of the winnable games off, and so now you have to win. What do you have to do? Go 5 and
Now you have to go 5-3.
5 and 3 the rest of the way.
And I still believe that. I still believe if they go 5-3, it'll be you'll show enough. But
I'd like to add in you have to be 5 and 3 with competent offense.
But I think what we're seeing right now is they're not going to win. They may win 1 or 2 more games with great defense and poor offense. I think to get to 5-3 with the rest of the schedule they have, it'd have to be competent enough.
Yeah,
But
fair
I mean,
enough.
you're right. It's a fair caveat because if the Broncos would have won, 13-10 today, that wouldn't have crossed. That wouldn't have been the competent offense. So I still stick with that. But the issue is, guys, to go 5-3, there's nothing that you can point to and say, oh, I feel confident that this team's going to go 5-3. They beat the Jacksonville Jaguars including that. The Broncos are 1-5 in their last 6 games since starting 2-1. 1-5.
You know what's crazy is today is the first game the Broncos have played in this season where it wasn't a 3-point game or closer at some point in the fourth quarter.
And it was at 4.
Wow.
It was just 4.
Yep.
And that was too much. Too much to overcome.
Far too much.
Did you guys watch the Thursday night football game when Kirk Herbstreit asked Al Michael, do you think the Falcons have a quick score in them here? And Al Michael just said, I don't. And he was right. And Ryan, you asked me today, the Broncos, at one point in the game, are the
He
Broncos
kept
going to get a
doing that.
score? And I was like, no, because it's just
I wanted someone to try and speak things into existence.
Oh
with
my
me.
goodness.
and you just can't with this team on
No.
offense anymore.
And there was one point when you asked when they had 1 touchdown, they're going into their 10th drive. It's like,
Yeah.
think they're getting a touchdown? No.
Just say, yeah.
No.
Sometimes you just gotta say yes.
Oh, like when you did.
Yes.
And then what happened?
I was wrong. No one cares.
But if you're right, it hits pretty good.
Yeah,
It feels
exactly,
good.
exactly. Like when I called that screen pass that went for 14 yards.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Real Tony Romo shit.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! I mean, yeah, but there's so many issues, so many problems. Running back is one.
Yep.
I mean, the Broncos just have nothing there right now.
Because Melvin Gordon, who is
Yeah.
a good running back in his heart somewhere, can't play like he used to.
No.
Because he's afraid of fumbling the ball, and he should be.
Did the Broncos get away
Because he
with
almost
one?
did twice.
And exactly, they got away
Yeah.
with 2. One
for
really,
sure.
but
Yeah.
I think I think if they throw the flag, it stands.
Probably.
But
Probably.
If it would have been ruled a fumble, I think that also
stands.
would have stood.
Yes. So yeah, he can't. He's not running the same. Like started with that Colts game when he was probably going to get cut, in my opinion, before Javonte got hurt. The next week they had no choice but to start him. He's running 2 hands on the ball like
Yep.
William Refrigerator Perry going in for the Bears in the Super Bowl. And ever since then he doesn't run as hard, he doesn't run as decisively, and it's kind of it's understandable because he knows if he fumbles he's just done. So he can't really go. Latavius Murray is fine. He averaged 2.7 yards per carry today.
fine.
Didn't it feel better though? It felt better than that.
That's because he had a long run of 10 yards.
Yep. So he went 8 of 14 on the other ones.
And then Chase Edmonds had 2 carries for 9 yards. What's interesting about that, he averaged the best on the team. His long was 10. That tells you what happened on the other carry.
Yikes. And then, like you said, Melvin, the best on the team outside of Chase Edmonds, 3.4 yards.
Disastrous. Now, I don't really know how much the running backs are the problem there as much as it is the offensive line. They get no push. They're not really opening up any holes.
Man, and the disappointing thing, Ryan, you texted us right when the Jeffrey Simmons news came in. You said this could be huge. And it should have been huge. They're without their best defender on the offensive line.
I think it was huge. And it still didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And that just shows you how disappointing it was.
Yeah.
Like if he plays, they might have gotten shut out.
It is crazy though how like
Yes.
every team in the NFL just every 3 or 4 years has a season where they're just signing a random veteran running back off the street because they don't have any options.
Yeah.
Like you just go like maybe it's every 5 years. You just hit that point in the cycle again where it's like, oh, yep, all of our 2 good running backs are hurt, so here we go trying to sign whoever from wherever and seeing if it works.
Yep.
It was about 5 years ago the Broncos were signing that former Ravens running back.
Forsett?
Yes, Justin.
Justin Forsett.
There was the one before that where you wound up with like, was that the Selvin Young season?
Oh,
Where, they
yeah,
had
yeah.
Mike Bell. They brought back Tatum Bell.
Yep. Ryan Terrain was a rookie.
Yeah.
He had like a dope game, got injured right away.
Yep.
Yeah, it is true, and that's where the Broncos are right now. Although it's not like they suffered a bunch of injuries.
No.
They just suffered one injury to the only
And
guy
then-
who mattered. And
Well,
then,
there were 2 guys who mattered.
Well,
the
the
other one
other
just
guy fumbled
sucked.
away his opportunity.
Yeah. Yep.
When I look at this game, total yards 313 for the Broncos, 307 for the Titans. Rushing yards 65 for the Broncos, 63 for the Titans. Passing yards 248 for the Broncos, 244 for the Titans, including sacks. We're talking about a near identical game. Mm-hmm. What was the difference? Why did Tennessee get 17 and the Broncos only got 10?
They were able to string plays together, which is something the Broncos literally never did.
Yep. And if the Broncos, even on their touchdown drive, it was one play.
That's the one.
It
Yep.
wasn't like they put a lot of things together.
It was
Yep.
the one at the end of the half. That was the difference, that drive.
Yep.
Because you have like the big play, touchdown. Theirs was on the flea flicker. That was the difference, though, was just that one drive.
Yep. And then another thing, not necessarily a big difference in this game, but 4 for 17 on third down. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett pointed to it after the bye. Justin Outen pointed to it after the bye. Third down has to get better. It got worse. Broncos on fourth down, though, 2 of 3, 67% completion or efficiency on fourth down. And after the game, Nathaniel Hackett said, it's like we're almost better on fourth down than third down.
Desperation helps.
Yeah, I mean, probably being
The
inches away.
The third and a full 1 sneak was
Dude.
behind Luke Wattenberg in his second ever NFL play.
Dude. Well, I mean, come on.
It just showed me how unconfident they are in anything. And I can't
everything,
blame
yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett for that. He's looking at his play sheet and he's like, what do I trust here?
Yeah.
What's the play that I have that I'm like, that's the play we go to?
Yeah, no, I liked it on fourth down. Just follow up with it on fourth
I
down.
hated it on
but
fourth down. It just
third down-
worked. Because they didn't get any closer on third down. Maybe they give
It's
him like
true.
6 inches or so.
Right.
And I was just like, don't try this again. But they did it a little bit differently with the Kendall Hinton push. And,
Right.
you know, Kenny Hot
was the
Dog
difference.
had himself a little game.
Probably good you didn't cut him, too, by the way.
Yes,
Yes.
as some were suggesting.
Yeah, because Kendall Hinton goes 4 catches for 62 yards. Was really, I mean, the spark until Jalen Virgil got in there. Jalen Virgil, 1 catch for 66 yards. And should we just give out our DraftKings Sportsbook
Let's
King
go.
of the game?
The only good vibe moment of the whole day.
And man, did it feel good. Jalen Virgil, the DraftKings Sportsbook King of the game, his first NFL game. his first NFL catch, and his first NFL touchdown. What, I mean, Ryan, you say vibes. What great vibes going on for him.
Yeah, I thought in that moment, like, oh, good things can happen to us.
Yeah.
And I was really happy for him. That's such a cool moment.
Yeah.
He's probably the only person who's like still has a smile on
Yeah.
today after the
Yeah.
game. He might not even, and I wouldn't blame him if he did. But I also wouldn't blame him if he doesn't.
I think a friend of the program, Romy Bean, was hosting the CBS postgame show, and they were in the locker room, and yeah, he didn't even have a smile on. Which I'm like, damn, he can't even enjoy this.
I hope that he's like just faking it. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's like, I don't want to be
Right.
the only happy guy in the
Yep,
locker room.
yep.
So like, put the scowl on, then like go find your friends and family and celebrate.
Yep.
Really awesome moment for him. Really happy for him, and really the only fun or cool thing that happened today.
Yep. I completely agree. That was about it. I mean, 3 points outside of that.
And I'm just thinking of like even defensive plays that were like, oh, it's
Nick
a
Benito
fun
had
play.
that one.
Yeah.
There was the one where then he
Oh,
missed.
Jacob
and
Martin had a
got the
sack.
sack.
Yeah, and I mean, how about Jacob Martin too? Speaking of guys making their Broncos debut today, a sack, almost another sack that there was a false or an offsides that negated it, I believe.
Which wasn't offside.
Yeah. So I mean, he could have a 2-sack game for Jacob Martin. And just another, speaking of fun plays, how about Cortland Sutton's catch?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's one of the. It won't get any run because it's just 11 a.m. game that no one was paying attention to.
yep. And then you had Justin Jefferson do what he did.
Yeah, but that's one of the most improbable catches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, a lot of these catches you see is they're going with the ball, right? His body is going against the ball,
Yeah.
and he's falling,
Yeah.
and he catches it with one hand. Like the amount of hand-eye coordination and
Yeah.
athleticism it takes to make that catch, which is funny because he dropped some easy ones.
Yeah, see,
Yes, he
and
did.
that's the thing. I mean, just an up and down day. It's like I thought that was going to get Cortland Sutton jump started after. I think he had a dropper before that or something. There was something that didn't work
Across
out.
the middle,
and,
yep.
and then it kind of did. He ends with the best game he's had in forever. 6 catches for 66 yards. But still, 11 targets. Now, that's not all on him, but I mean, he's only just above 50% catch rate. And now he is the guy because Jerry Jeudy went out, got some good news from Hackett after the game. He thinks the Broncos, and is hoping, I should say, the Broncos dodged a bullet with Jerry Jeudy. Reports coming out throughout the game as it went on that they were not looking at his Achilles. They're looking at his ankle.
Oh, but Dr. David Chow said he tore his Achilles.
Oh, wrong again? Shocking. What didn't they say Javonte Williams was fine?
I don't
those
remember.
medical doctors? Yeah, I
Wait,
think
tell
they
the
did.
story though.
Yeah, we had
Maybe a follower. Maybe he'll watch. Maybe
yeah
he'll listen.
a excited patron
Yeah,
in the
passionate.
Yes.
bar who was hopping on screen a couple times, and he just ran over to us. He's like, Jerry Jeudy out for the season, torn Achilles. And we're like, what? Where did you see that? And he was like, Broncos IG updates or something like that. I was like, no,
Like, okay.
I was like, no, don't show me that. I was like, who said it? He's like, oh, Dr. David Chow. I was like, no.
Oh, Dr. David Chow.
All you have to do is put a doctor in front, and that gets you so much credibility on the internet. Like, everyone was like, I hope this isn't Achilles. You put the doctor in front of it, and you're like, this is an Achilles.
Damn, I should change my Twitter name to Dr. RK, buy a verification badge, and just start
Yes.
tweeting about every
There
injury
you
in the
go.
NFL.
You'll go viral.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is people follow him because
Yep.
a lot of times he'll give like the positive update, right? So then people will start retweeting it
Right.
because they're like, "Oh, he's fine.
Yep.
This guy said he is."
Yeah, exactly. A couple more injuries that we didn't get updated on. Billy Turner, of course, went down with the knee. I mean, if I'm Dr. David Chow, I'm saying probably really bad knee injury.
Do you
the
think
way
we
that
can all just do this?
Yes, we can.
We should have a competition. We all just make like a burner Twitter account. Dr. Hank.
Whoever gets the most
Yeah.
followers,
Whoever
Yes.
gets is it most followers or most right?
Oh,
most followers doesn't matter.
Yeah, because you're right. It's not
That's
about
Just
being
ask
right.
Dr. Chow.
But that looked bad. So now the Broncos are permanently on a backup left tackle for the rest of the season. They could easily be permanently on a backup right tackle for the rest of the season. And Quinn Bailey, I mean, I feel for the guy because he's a practice squad player. He was on the practice squad yesterday. He will be back on the practice squad tomorrow. and he's asked to be a starting right tackle for the Broncos.
Yeah.
They're in such a tough space there. And then Graham Glasgow, he goes down. He gets hurt. Luke Wattenberg comes in, and you have 2 bad snaps. Now, I shouldn't say bad snaps. One of them hit Russ's hand. Russ has to have that one. And then I didn't see what happened on the other one.
It hit his hand, but it's like way off target.
It was a bad snap that he has to have.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Two
I mean,
things can be
blame
true.
on both sides. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly.
And not to mention, Luke Wattenberg also just ran away from a block at one point, which allowed Russell Wilson to get sacked.
And got Dalton turned around with his hands up screaming.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah,
Dalton
yes,
probably is the one
yes.
who's going to get the sack on his record there.
In a
I was like,
contract
Dalton,
year.
what is happening right now? It was so weird. It was like he thought the play was still going and like dropped back into a set again.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, Luke thought he was pulling, so he clearly didn't know the play.
Right.
Because he, chips the guy. He has perfect position on him, and then just leaves and goes out running the other way. And that's when Dalton's like, "What are you doing? Where are you
He just
going?"
ran away.
It looked like something in a video game, like a little error, and a player just right after a play is like pretending to block.
And I feel bad for Luke Wattenberg too. He's
Yeah.
a third string
yeah,
center.
Yeah.
And he's a rookie.
yeah.
And he gets thrown in there with no, I guess he had to prepare this week as if he would play, but it's just this is what I always talk about is no one ever talks about how injured teams are enough. But it's probably going to be the story the whole entire rest of this year. So remember that I said this right now, because I'm probably going to be angry and roasting them later in the season, and it's not going to matter to me quite as much about the injuries that happen, but the story of the rest of the season, especially if they're not getting these guys back, is they're too injured to do anything anyway.
Yeah, they really are. And then another big injury coming in. I'm trying to find the exact injury, but K'Wan Williams went out of the game near the end of it, and he was huge. He picked up right where he left off in London and was, again, great today.
RG had such a funny comment on the stream that just every week his cast gets bigger and bigger. It's true. And I was like, it's like one of those things, like 100 retweets will make it bigger.
Right, yes.
It's true.
It's going to be the
Eventually.
size of his body soon.
I hope he's all right. They're down to nothing.
Yep, they are. They are, specifically on offense, and it's the worst place to be down on, specifically at offensive line. Not just on backups now, but on third-string practice squad guys.
Like, what if I told you their best running back is Latavius Murray and their second best wide receiver is Kendall Hinton?
That's tough.
I'll say, wow, Kendall Hinton must have gotten dope. He's a Pro Bowl.
And I don't even know if Latavius Murray is their best running back, but
He's getting the carries.
yeah.
It's what, 3 games in a row? Maybe 4 that he's had the most
Oh,
carries?
and their best offensive lineman is...
Quinn, probably.
Okay, that doesn't
Still
change. Their
Quinn,
second best offensive lineman
Dalton
Dalton.
by just
by default.
by
But he
default.
has to
Yeah,
be,
I
yeah.
mean, he's literally the other 3 positions are injured.
The third stringers.
They're just kind of cooked.
Yep.
Very cooked.
And even if they were good, they might be cooked.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if they were good at one point.
Exactly, because it's not like we're seeing all these injuries and now we're saying, oh, man, well, the fall off, what are they supposed to do? They're so injured. They were great before him. No, that's what's disappointing. And maybe we had Adam Hogue in the house today. Shout out to him, of course, our
Yes.
Bears reporter for CHGO. Justin Fields has undergone an incredible transformation, which we will probably have the conversations about moving forward. Should the Broncos have taken him?
Yep.
But what the Broncos can focus on right now is just how he has totally flipped his season around this year. I mean, it's not like he
Yeah.
started off really hot this season or last year, but he's able to transform by the team doing what he does best. That's what Hackett has to do with Russ.
Did the Broncos get the wrong offensive assistant from the Packers?
With the way
Luke Getsy.
Luke Getsy's looking. Yeah. So far,
It's
yeah.
possible.
It's crazy. Like the Bears have scored 30 points in back-to-back games.
Insane.
Yeah.
Did they lose today, too?
They did. They lost both games.
Oh, my gosh.
They're so
The
bad.
Detroit Lions have the same record as the Denver Broncos. How about that?
The
This
Broncos
is the-
are
This is the Detroit Lions that were 1-6 3 weeks ago.
Broncos are really going to give the Seahawks a top 5 pick.
It's disgusting, and Seattle reporters are all over it. Oh, I know we lost this morning, but hey, the Broncos lost, so that pick just looks better.
Yeah.
So
The
you
thing
guys see
is, they're still going to have to get a quarterback at some point, so they better hit with that one.
Yeah, it's true. Did you see the Russell Wilson Seattle Seahawks jersey that was spotted in Germany today?
No.
They put tape over Russ's name on the back and said 2 first-round picks.
Ooh. Wow. Well, you got Charles Cross with the first one, right?
That's a good one.
He's doing good.
Yep.
And we'll see what they do with the second one. Let's see how good it is.
Man, I'm concerned about that.
I think it could be one of those ones where both teams end up losing the trade.
It very well could be. Yeah, I mean, if they don't hit on the quarterback. But right now, I guess Geno Smith didn't play as well today.
Yeah, I mean, but Geno isn't their long-term
Right.
answer. He's never going to win them a Super Bowl.
No, he's not. But you can get Super Bowl odds over at DraftKings Sportsbook right now. If you place a $5 bet on any NBA moneyline team and they win, you get $200 in free bets in your account right away. How are you guys doing? How's your weekend been on DraftKings?
Really good yesterday. Pretty bad so far today.
Okay, yeah, fair. I have a couple parlays that are still open. Unfortunately for my CSU Rams fans, I hit Wyoming money line when they were
Wow.
Good bet.
down. I was also up in Fort Collins watching the
Ruthless.
game.
Oh, my God.
But DraftKings gave me a 25% live
He
boost.
does
How
not
could I
care.
not? I
Oh.
mean, I
How
got
could
the
you
odds
not?
to plus
How did
180.
Annika feel about that?
I
Probably
don't
didn't
think, I
tell.
don't think I've told her.
Yeah,
Yeah, she doesn't need to know about that. And I didn't tell Lindsay when I was having that conversation with her earlier today either, so I'm sorry, Linz. But DraftKings, I mean, they just continue to hand out boosts left and right.
Wait, has CSU fans turned on Norvell yet?
No,
Okay.
they
crazy.
haven't. Because they're playing more competitive now, even though they're only scoring 13 points a game. Yeah, they haven't turned like
What a
like
luxury.
people have on Hackett.
I feel so bad for just every football fan in Colorado.
in color, it's tough, man.
Even Air Force fans are probably Broncos fans, so they only get to enjoy one thing.
Are they good? Are they holding up this year?
I think they're good. I don't know if they're quite as good as they were supposed to be.
Right.
Nobody ever hears much about them.
No, it's true.
They're 4th in the Mountain West.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
It's not very good.
Fourth in the Mountain West is not good.
Upper quartile.
Hey, the Broncos are about to
Actually,
be
probably not.
fourth in the AFC West,
Upper quartile.
but not the upper quartile of the upper quartile.
Definitely not the upper
No,
quartile of the
no,
top.
no.
Which
upper
we determined
quartile.
today on the tailgate. That's incorrect math.
So
It
they're
is.
7 and 3
They aren't in the upper
overall.
quartile of the upper quartile.
No, because that'd be like what, top 2?
Yes.
Would be.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Jesus. That took us like 20 minutes.
They're 7 and 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
They
John.
play
in the
CSU
Mountain West.
next.
Go Zoomies.
Oh, there we go. So head over
Montana
to
would be
draft.
9-1 in the Mountain West.
Are they even 9-1 in their own conference?
They're
No,
3
FCS
and
is
3
tougher.
in their
Oh my God.
Wow,
tougher.
of course,
It's
of
tougher.
course. So use the code DNVR over at DraftKings Sportsbook and make sure to see show notes for details.
And
Buff's
also,
still bad.
get on out to Infinity Park in Glendale and go watch some rugby. That's where they play their games, the American Raptors. They're a team comprised of former athletes of other sports that they're converting into rugby players with hopes of getting them onto the U.S. national team. It's a really cool program that they have going. So make sure, like I said, that you get in on that. Free tickets at AmericanRaptors.com. You can stream their matches there. They had a big match last night against Fecco Rugby Toucans. They were out in Colombia.
Did they win?
I was just pulling that up. 40. Dope.
Come on, Raptors. Let's go.
It's tough to say.
Raptors.
Not a lot of news coming out of old Colombia. But yeah, I mean, watch your
What
games.
about like Colton's Twitter account?
Good idea. Well, I wasn't
Keep
on that
going.
website.
I'll look.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, American Raptors, a lot of fun, a lot of rugby. They have been consistently scoring more points than the Broncos, which is fun.
Ooh, they pulled it out. No. Yes, they pulled
Let's
it
go!
out. Yeah.
Wow.
I went to Col-
43 to 28.
I went to Colton's Twitter and I sadly discovered that he was at the Broncos game in Nashville today.
Of course. So there you go.
Should have gone to
American Raptors.
Columbia.
Yeah,
Yes.
more points there for sure.
Man,
Yes.
it's been a bad weekend for you, Ryan. With the Leeds losing too.
Oh yeah, you don't have to tell me, but all
Buffs basketball.
Buffs basketball, that's
all.
my only team. Didn't you know?
Yeah, the one that lost at Grambling.
That was
They
before the
beat-
weekend, technically.
I love how you're not going to let that down.
Tennis-
I mean, they lost at
Tennessee.
Grambling.
It doesn't
No, I
matter.
was
They
fired up.
beat
I was all fired up about the
Tennessee.
season. Sat down, watched that game. I was like, oh,
It doesn't
God, here
matter.
we go.
They beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
It does matter.
It
doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't.
It does.
They beat
doesn't.
Tennessee.
You're able to come out of it as like a net neutral. But there
No,
you go.
it
No,
doesn't
net
matter.
positive.
I don't think so. Grambling.
It doesn't matter.
What state
It
is
does,
that in?
though.
Louisiana.
Louisiana? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
trust you.
I believe it is.
Speaking of CSU or CU, they were up 3-2 on USC.
They were.
Yeah,
after
at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah. What happened in the second?
We
third,
don't
and
wanna
fourth?
talk
I don't know.
They
Actually,
lost by like 40.
didn't catch the rest of the game.
Just to balance it out, I did bet on USC minus 34.5.
Smart.
So I
Oh,
appreciate that.
okay.
There you go.
That was
Yeah.
smart.
I mean,
That's an
I
easy
would have
one.
told you to do that.
Yeah,
so.
Yep.
yeah. You probably also would have told me to take Wyoming money line when they were down too. So
Yep,
Yeah.
I would have
Yeah.
done that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have been in on these bets.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately, fade football in Denver, Colorado.
Just fade football.
Yeah, fade football.
No, go Birds! No, go Birds!
Let's just
Monday
give up
Night
on the sport
Football.
entirely.
Are they off? No, they're tomorrow.
Monday Night Football.
There we go.
Yesterday, so really quick, in my new life as a diehard Leeds fan,
Oh yes,
Oh, boy.
yes.
I woke up at 8 a.m. yesterday,
Wow.
and then I watched sports from 8 a.m. to midnight,
Oh
just
my gosh.
nonstop.
Wow.
It was so epic.
Wow.
Like I was like, wow. In my previous life, I could only watch sports from 10 a.m. to midnight.
True.
I didn't
Wow.
realize how serious this. I mean, I knew that it was serious, but I woke up to Allie, Leads are on. Like, come on, wake up.
Not
And
even
I'm like,
Leeds
oh.
is on.
No, that's not how we say it.
Oh,
What do
Not
you
how we
say?
it across. Leads are on.
Oh, leads are on. Wow, you even got the language.
Yeah. yeah.
Wow.
You know, I didn't know how real it was until they gave up a one. They were up one with like 15 minutes left, and they gave up 2 goals to lose. And like, it actually ruined my
He
day.
felt pain.
wow.
Like every time I thought about it, the rest of the day I was pissed.
Wow, you went to bed
Wow.
with a Buffs loss. You woke up to a Leeds loss.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
But I did make some money on other things throughout the day, which
There we
saved
go.
my day.
There we go. There we go. Shout out DraftKings.
Shout out DraftKings.
Shout out the people. Should we talk to them?
Oh, and real quick, Vikings said I'm going to explode when I know how good the World Cup is. I love the World Cup. I'm not new to soccer. I'm just new to the Premier League.
Yeah, no, you're hyped for the World Cup.
Yeah, I've always like international soccer was my introduction to it, so it's kind of always been my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
So I'm
It's true.
really hyped for the World
I was
Cup.
actually really, because I played soccer growing up and watched a lot of soccer growing up. I was actually very surprised with how much Ryan knew I was about the Rapids and the World Cup and the U.S. men's team in general.
Impressive.
I was like, wow,
And
okay.
DNVR is the official watch.
Yep. Official watch party headquarters of the Colorado Rapids for World Cup watch parties.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I love it.
So, anyways, let's hit some super chats.
Let's do it.
All right, from the Great Browse, save me from the KC fans here in Wichita, FML. Just leave.
Ooh.
Wichita's in Kansas, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chiefs are Missouri.
Yeah, Chiefs.
They don't get to claim that. They
well,
don't get to claim
The
that.
Missouri City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Kansas is
Yeah.
kind of split. If you go to Western Kansas, you get Broncos fans.
Yeah.
I don't know about what Wichita.
No, Wichita. That's not Kansas. They can't. I mean, that's not.
Speaking
Did you
of
see the
college
Travis Kelsey
basketball.
story?
No.
So
boy.
he had when he was at Cincinnati, like a couple of their teammates got drafted to the Rams, the St. Louis Rams at the time.
Okay.
And he was like, before the draft, they just hate it there. So he's just like, I'll go anywhere but to the Rams. Like, please, just don't draft me to the Rams. And on draft day, he gets a call, and all he sees is that it's a Missouri number. And he's like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
That's incredible.
And then he answers, and it's Andy Reid.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. What a relief.
Yeah, pretty funny.
But now he'd be out in LA. Probably be okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Although
He would
LA
have had to
right
play
now,
with, like,
True.
Case Keenum, Jared Goff.
Yeah.
that's true. Now a dying Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
And well, now a backup.
even playing.
Yeah. Did you guys see that game of backups? The Rams are now down 17-3 against
Nice.
the Cardinals. Yikes.
Yeah. Colt McCoy actually, like, runs the offense.
Of the Kyler offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
No, just the Cliff offense.
Right. Novel concept.
Yep.
Next one from Super Live Strong 101 says, I hope the Broncos become fun to watch again.
Me
I
too.
wasn't expecting them to be incredible immediately, but the fact that they are so boring is brutal.
It's by far the worst part.
Yep.
Bad and boring. We thought we escaped both.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Bears. Back-to-back weeks where they lost, but they
Yeah.
scored 30 points in both games.
Yep.
I would be fine. Like, yeah, of course, we'd be pointing out all the little reasons why they screwed up and why they lost in the same way that we kind of did today. But at least we'd be like, man, that was electric. Remember those 3 Jerry Jeudy touchdowns?
Yep.
That was sick.
Yep. Can't say that now.
There hasn't been a single game this season where we're like, wow, that was just a fun game.
Nope. You know, the wins they've had, 11-10 over the 49ers.
14-9 over the Texans.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, just boring ones.
Yeah, I mean, the Seahawks game was kind of fun, other than the fact that they fumbled it away, and then ever since then, it's just kind of gotten worse.
The Jags, second half was fun.
That was
Yeah.
really fun, actually.
Yeah, it was. All right, next one coming in from Jacob Christian says, could not be more apathetic. Missed the high point of the last 10 years due to a deployment during the 2015 season. Y'all may be the only reason I still even check the score. Lurker since BSN days. We really
Wow.
appreciate you rolling with us, Jacob, and of course for your service as well.
Yeah, thank you for your
absolutely.
service.
I mean, appreciate everyone who continues to hang with us.
Yes.
That's all I can really say.
One thing we can promise is we're going to be here and we're going to have fun at some way, somehow.
There's
Yeah.
no reason they can't be good next year.
We should have just done a Buffs basketball post-game show.
Oh, instead of just
A
watching.
little-
Just started
little
it up,
Broncos
and I'm just like, winners lounge. Everyone's like, what the hell? I'm like, Buffs beat number 11 Tennessee. All right, next one is from N. Greer, who says, thank you guys for what you do. It gives me a place to mourn with others.
Of course.
Yes.
Thank you
Amen.
for being here with us.
Yep.
And finally, from Anthony, 6 years of getting outcoached, 10 points. Really?
Really?
10.
Really, really.
Not that bad of a
Man.
performance given the just kind of the vibe this season.
Is it too much to ask for one defensive touchdown?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It
Just
is.
all year?
I mean, that's really true. Yeah. I mean, the Broncos defense, everyone was saying it when the Titans were driving. It's Broncos have to come up with the big play, and they did, courtesy of Malik Willis going
Jesus.
into
Courtesy
the game.
of Mike Vrabel
Yes.
and the Titans coaching
So
staff.
Yes,
bad.
it's very true. And they did, and then offense couldn't do anything.
Not only could they not do anything, they went backwards.
Yeah. How many times have we said that this year of like, wow, a huge opportunity was just gifted to the Broncos offense. Oh, and they either didn't get yards or they went backward.
Yep.
It feels like every time.
Yeah.
It'd be nice, like the defense just needs to score on their own.
Yep.
They might have if K-Jack caught that ball that went right through his hands.
Oh man.
And that's a tough, like it was thrown really hard.
It
but
was went right through his hands though, and then Kareem Jackson, tough game. I mean, great overall game from the defense. We've already touched on kind of how they could have been a little better, but Kareem, I mean, a key piece in two of the big drives.
the piece in two of the both touchdowns.
Yeah.
Right? He gets beaten coverage on the first touchdown, and then he misses the tackle
Yep.
on the flea flicker. And like my whole thing was, you don't even have to make that tackle, but you do have to slow him down.
Slow him down, right?
Because
right,
there's two guys running full speed trying to, and if he just breaks down at all and forces the guy to make a move, then they probably catch him. And you know, this defense, you give them a shot in the red zone, you think they have a chance to at least hold for 3.
But you're Kareem Jackson. You should still at least. I mean, you should be able to tackle him. But I agree, you have to
Yeah.
at least slow him down.
Yeah,
Yep.
rough. Anything else?
Think that's it. The Raiders are losing at this moment in time,
That's
13-7.
Yep, the Colts pulled the Broncos and let them march down easily right before the half.
half.
But then
Ah.
they did it so easily that the Colts got it back and got a field goal of their
Oh,
own.
well, there we go. Okay, Broncos
Smart.
did not do that.
Colts have officially outscored the Broncos, and so they're going to move into last.
Wow.
Oh no,
That,
brutal.
I think that's the hardest thing for me to believe.
Last.
That the offense got worse
right.
from any of the years.
Yep.
Any.
Yep.
Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler, Case Keenum, Joe Flacco, Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock, all of those offenses, Rich Scangarello, Pat Shurmur, obviously Gary Kubiak's legit, but all of these different offensive coordinators, Mike McCoy, all of them more productive with worse, supposedly worse quarterbacks.
Yeah. I can't believe it. And it's not just worse. It is, I mean, like 33% worse than any other offense the Broncos have had.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shocking.
the bad offenses, I think like Brock and Drew were scoring like 18 or 19 points per game. Russell Wilson's now going to be under 15 points per game.
Setting football back decades.
In a time where
Centuries.
where scoring is easy. Well, I guess this year it's taken a little step back, but
Yep.
still, what's the average? 21 points I think, around the league right
Yeah.
now. It's somewhere right around
Yeah,
there.
I believe that.
All right, we got one final buzzer beater here. Last one comes in from OPMG. The OC got to go, man. I'm tired. I'm getting cyber bullied by everyone. Still loyal. I'm loving Nick Benito, though. There is no OC.
There's a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, you can fire Justin Outen.
Yeah.
It would be mean.
But yeah, then you're just getting rid of your good
That's
friend
Yes.
for no benefit, really.
Oh,
In
love
fact,
to
you'd
see his
actually just
family.
have even more on your plate if you're Nathaniel Hackett then.
Totally. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, you got to start doing things for Nathaniel Hackett's sake to say, wait, don't fire me, because I'm going to fire someone else.
Or he's just, he is like a really good and loyal dude. He might just say, like, nah, you got to fire all of us.
Yeah, that could be the case.
And
Things are trending that way.
yeah, I'm even past that.
Man.
It's probably happening.
I can't believe 3-6 that this team is here.
The record is somehow more believable than the fact that they're the worst offense in football.
That is
Yeah,
true.
definitely.
100%. Yep.
Definitely.
Crazy.
Yep, it is.
All right. Well, on that lovely note, we are going to let you guys go. Thanks for tuning in with us. We will, of course, be with you. We appreciate everyone who continues to ride with us through all these struggles. And one day, it's all going to pay off. We'll be there then, too. We'll see you guys.